you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your weekly World Energy Healing Session with me. And there's a group here supporting us, and we're going to do a nice healing on cultivating gratitude. So, I'm not going to do it on gratitude itself. We want to be able to cultivate it. So, sometimes, you could sit and have a mantra and just say, I feel gratitude. I am grateful for this. And just repeat it, but it's not really going in. So, one of the things you can do to really help is to allow the physical body to join in. So I tend to feel like a smile is a really good thing. That might not be yours. You can just figure, what do you need to really feel that sense of gratitude? Remember, your facial expressions, laughter will change your mood. So you might want a tiny smile, you want a meditative smile. It's got to be something along the lines that's going to bring your joy up, because you want to affiliate joy, which is a heart, small intestine emotion, to link itself to gratitude, right? So, in the group, we were mentioning some terrible things that can happen to us, really horrible things. But I don't go into gratitude to displace the terrible things. I don't want to do that. I want to cultivate gratitude within myself so that I have a greater understanding of what I'm grateful for, so it can actually help me to be strong when I go through difficult things. Because when we go through difficult things right away, one of the things we like to do is go into a very manipulative stance. That manipulative stance is usually, woe is me, poor me. Oh, this is terrible for me. You'll be able to hear it in your head. It's something, I sprained my ankle, lost my voice, and then I got a cramp in my belly and it's not going away. So, I was like, woe is me. And then I went, wait a minute. You get to have, whatever's wrong with you, this loss of voice and your sprained foot and your cramp in your belly, you get to have it in this gift you've been given to come down to this beautiful part of the world and stay in this home and do your work from here and have all this light coming in, and also beautiful. Oh, you can't see it now, but the gardenias are in bloom and they're absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. And I filled the house with little gardenias everywhere else where so I could smell them. So despite I'm limping around, it's pulling up my neck, it's causing my voice to contract, and somehow my gut is hurting, I guess, because everything's kind of all strange together. And I'm still smiling because I go, well, those things are going to happen. You look after them, but you need to cultivate gratitude so that it takes you to this moment. I don't think if I hadn't cultivated the gratitude for everything going on, being here and having all of this, I don't think I would be so strong. I'd be more like my pathetic self, the little pathetic side. We all have it. You won't deny it. We all have this little pathetic side that says, oh, poor me. So we want to also work with cracking the shell of narcissistic tendencies, where we'll see something going on, especially now today with social media. It's really important because before we just had one news outlet. You had your television set. There are a lot of people today that have been born without even that life. But my age, some people younger than me, some people, all we had was this boob tube. We didn't even have these big screens. We just had this tiny little set. You can go watch some movies from the 70s and 80s, and you'll see this little tiny TV set, and the TV has lots of snow on it, and you had to move the rabbit ears, and then later cable came if you got cable, and then to today where we're constantly bombarded with all the terrible things, and our fears are exacerbated, and those fears also connect and increase our narcissism. Okay, does that make sense? So we want to put a crack in it for us. At least we can be part of that energy that it can help break it apart. So many people are looking at others in snapshots of their lives, just like TV, just like movie stars. In the old days, I would I would listen to people going, "Oh my God, isn't this person wonderful? Isn't this person this actress?" And I'd be like, "But it's just one view of this person, only one view." Now the individual is almost like an actor. Go to Facebook if you have an account and change your picture. Just change it and see how many people are going to tell you how beautiful you are and how lovely you are. I really hate changing anything on Facebook. I kind of keep it boring. I have a really old picture because I don't want it to change, because I don't want to see all those comments, because they're not real. They're not legitimate. Yes, you could have someone who says, yes, but you actually do look really good. Yes, that's fine, but it's the only thing you're seeing, and you're not seeing the rest of the world. Because if you go outside like we used to and walk into a store, not everyone's going to run up to you and tell you how beautiful you are. But you go on Facebook and everyone's telling you how beautiful you are. It's a little bit strange, right? Or congratulations for little tiny things that we do. And then when we're working really hard, really, really hard, like our group here works really hard. We put these videos out. I do another video that I send out, and we work really hard doing this basically gratis work going out into the world. And there isn't as much of a reaction to this work as there is to changing a photo or sending a photo about, I don't know, this, that, or the other thing. So it's fascinating what is going on. You could say maybe you're not very good at your work. Maybe I'm not very good at my videos. Okay, you could say that. That's fine. But whether they're good or not, I know my work is good. And I know that the group behind me also is very good at this work. So that energy is available to you. So somehow we look at the superficial and we're not looking deeper. So that also reinforces, especially with a combination of fear, right? So online reinforces our narcissism in combination with fear. So if someone's not living the life they see, let's say a friend living or someone else where they're traveling, they always put the best photo, where they've traveled, all this wonderful stuff. That's not daily life. One thing we do not like to accept is that life is basically boring. Now, I've been a tarot reader since 1972, and it is presently 2026. That's a lot of time. And in those years doing readings, people would want to hear things. Sorry, my leg is cramping up. People would want to hear things that were extraordinary. Well, how many times do you get married in a lifetime? How many times are you going to buy a house? Now, you may buy and sell, buy and sell. That's fine. But most of us will buy a house. Maybe we'll move. But we're not running around buying and selling all the time, unless you're an agent, you're flipping or doing something like that. And getting married, even if you're, what's her name? Liz Taylor, who got married 5 or 6 times. We still don't get married that often. And is that something you want to hear? That, oh, you're going to get married and get divorced? Is that what you want to hear when you're listening to tarot? That all to say that most of the reading is comprised with you eating, you sleeping, and you pooping, okay? And peeing and drinking water and doing your work. So life generally is boring, and we need to cultivate gratitude for the small things. So also, us older people, do you notice time moving faster? If you notice time moving faster, it's because you're not appreciating the little things. Because you've seen them so many times, your brain is ignoring them, so time goes by really fast. If you start appreciating the little things, You start noticing every step. Like when we were kids, we would walk down the street, everything would expand. It would be super large. And you'd see the cracks. My mom taught me, step on a crack, break your mother's back. It still drives me crazy. So I changed it to step on a crack, correct your mother's back. And sometimes it works. So um, you expand everything by slowing down and breathing and having gratitude for the little tiny things. And it has to be practiced. So first thing you do to start practicing gratitude is have a nice demeanor on your face. Now, if you're not like me, where I have massive smile, I smile a lot. Okay, I'm a big smiler. So I do kind of go outside, look at the flowers, and I just have this massive smile as I'm going around. Do what fits you that accelerates the feeling of joy, right? So if you put on a sad face, you put on an angry face, you put on a serious face, you will feel those things. If you put on a happy face, whatever your happy face is, you're going to feel better. Now, if you could tie that together with gratitude, you're going to start to cultivate it a lot easier. So, what could initiate? You got to think about this. What could initiate a smile? Maybe it's a photo of your child when he or she was a baby. Maybe it's just looking at your child when they're doing something, I don't know, dancing around. When I think of my nephews and I think of things they do, it makes me smile. Once my nephew came to my house and he went straight to the fridge. And because I was single and had a business there, I never had anything in the fridge. I would always go out and just grab some lettuce and then make the salad. But there was nothing. He came in. So he opened up the fridge, and all that was in there was a big, huge bottle of massage oil because you had to keep it in the fridge to keep it fresh. So he opened it up, looked inside, he said, "You only have crap in here," and slammed the door. And to this day, I cannot stop laughing. I'm trying to control myself, but if I totally visualize him doing it, I just start cracking up because it was just the most hilarious moment. So maybe you find something like that. It doesn't have to be necessarily about you. Okay, something that helps you to have that gratitude, the gratefulness that this little kid came over and decided to go in the fridge and give me this wonderful memory. Um, so think of something like that. A time I don't know, you felt really good in your work. When I have those moments when I'm doing my work and I'm so in the zone and the person is experiencing exactly what I'm experiencing at the same time, it's heaven, it's bliss. And I'm truly grateful that, the universe, the divine God is there with me. I think that I'm pretty old. I'm almost 66 years old, and my parents are still alive. Oh my God, the gratitude that I have every day that my parents are still alive, that I get to enjoy them, that I get to see them. So think of things that are really simple. Maybe a flower that grew in your garden, maybe a flower that grows in your house, maybe a book you love to read, maybe a particular line of poetry or Shakespeare that you like to read that brings you that happiness. The other day, I was listening to Camille Paglia talk about why there were no great female artists in the world. Oh, it was so fascinating. You can look it up on X, I think, on Twitter. And she was talking about how men have this absolute drive to create something, and women just don't. We're just so different because our identity is established the moment we menstruate. This was her reasoning. You don't have to agree with it or not or anything. I just loved listening to it. Said women, the day they menstruate, they know who they are, they know they're a woman. But men have to keep going and creating, and there's a passion and a drive to keep creating. And women just don't have that. And I thought it was fascinating. And you can look around and see that Yes, somebody's going to say, but I do. Yeah, okay, maybe you do. So go create and be the next Rembrandt. Excellent. There are always exceptions to the rule, but we're talking about generally. So, yeah, it's one thing we can appreciate as women that we don't have to go and do that, that we have something natural within us that's going to create. And for men, they have to go and do it. They have to build bridges and all kinds of things. All right. So with that, let's just sit quietly and kind of come up with your face. Now, my face is not going to be hysterical smile, but I can feel the musculature. You might even want to touch your face and just see how it feels when you're smiling, how your eyes feel. And then notice the rest of your body. Just kind of scan yourself. And if it's not enough, change the positioning of your face. You might even try something different, like put your put a sad face on. Doesn't feel so good, right? Put a happy face. You can tell the difference. You can feel the difference. So allow yourself to go into that space where you're feeling that joy. And then think of one thing you are grateful for. Eventually, it'll just be gratitude for life entirely. But at the moment, just think of something you are grateful for. And breathe. So even if you're unhealthy, be grateful for the health you do have. What is working for you? If you're worried about money, think about the money you do have. If your house isn't so nice, it's not doing so well, be grateful that you have a house. Be grateful you have a meal. Be grateful you have a sip of water. Be grateful you can walk to your sip of water. Be grateful someone might bring you a sip of water. Whatever it is, you can find something to be grateful for. And remember, gratitude is contagious, it expands. And there we go. So, nice deep breath again. And let's be grateful for the group that comes on here every week to support us all. I thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week and see you next week. Bye.